Just took apart the air cleaner box. I was cleaning it off outside and I thought, no, I got to take it down in pieces. And here's the old air filter. It's got to be replaced. And then there was the this pre-filter in here, which came out in crumbles. So that's some more things to add to my, with all kinds of bug stuff in there. So more things to add to my list of parts to get. The bearing and the two seals, the filters, and probably a new variator belt. I was having a real conundrum as to where the throttle cables went. I was thinking they came down this side, but then I started trying to put this air plant in here, and I couldn't figure out how in the hell they came in. So I was thinking they came through this gap here, but they come in through here. There may be something else that goes through there. So I had to pull them loose from the all through the column up here and reroute them and get them down. So I get the handlebar out of the way. And then I've got to get the manual out and see about adjusting the cable length. Hopefully I won't have to take them out again and do anything up on the handle itself. So let me get back to cleaning. I think I have pretty much most of the stuff back on. I was up digging through the box of junk upstairs, and there's not a whole lot of technical stuff left. It's mainly just broken panels that I've got to figure out how to epoxy, and I think I'm going to do some testing with fiberglass cloth. I've done some work on my T-Max with epoxy and cloths to fix errors on my part, and I was having another conundrum on this cable for the brake interlock, and then there's a switch on the panel that fits over the top that it went into, and I didn't see that until I got looking into the service manual again. So before I get putting all this stuff back together, I'm trying to decide whether I should even fire it up first before I put any of the plastic back on. And I need to get into the variator to check the belt, and I need to check the rear brake. By the looks of it, it still has plenty. If it's the same as the front brake, it's still got plenty of brake left, because when you put the lever down, there's a little pointer on the arm, the rear arm, and there's a point on the case, and when it gets, they match up, and then you need new brakes, but it's way a ways when the brake is on. So, but I still need to get in there to see the bearing on the left-hand side, or rider's left, to see if it's dead like the one that was on the right-hand side. So, well, the start of another day. I don't know, it's probably continuation of the same video. It's the first Sunday of daylight savings time last night, and I don't know why they just don't split the difference half an hour either way and just be done with it, instead of all this constant back and forth. I did find, I remember looking at the first video again, because I needed to look at some things to figure out where the wiring and stuff went, and where it looked. And I remember I had a sack, and it's even a Honda sack, a sack of bolts that were in the box, and there was a whole bunch of lifesavers in here. There's some of these little clips to go up on the handlebars, and I found some other nuts and bolts that I was afraid I was not going to find, like all of the little bolts that go for the hold the front of the dash windscreen onto, or a deflector onto the speedometer on this side, and there was also a couple bolts that went into the front on either side of that bracket that holds the electrical connection block. And so that saved me some bacon. And we've got these painted finally, so I'm going to go install those right now and get that hose done. And reminds me, I picked up an extra screw. Well, no, they're there. These I was going to get some today for the lower footboards, but I decided they got a strange screw on them, so I'm just going to clean them up and reuse them. No use in until this starts, get it running. I'm not going to put too much more money into it. So let me get change over and we'll go out and stick this thing on. Now I've got the bolt off. It goes back up inside of here, so I'll have to work from the other side and get everything, where's it at? There it is, out of the way. And well, I've got it back on the frame and bolted down both sides, and so I guess I can go ahead and try to stay out of camera. Put that on, and get my wrench out and put that back down again. Another thing I like about this jaw horse, I can put screws and stuff in here. These hold the floorboards down on both sides, and then you can turn sideways and you get them all cleaned up in there. Like I said before, once you get one of these things, and I'm not an supplied endorser of the jaw horses, I just happened, I wanted this thing for basically cutting wood, but I'm using it for just about everything. Now that I have them cleaned up, I stuck them in a piece of cardboard, and then I'm going to give them a couple coats of paint, and then I'll stick these in tomorrow, let the paint dry, so we'll come back. That plastic part goes up right where the forks, the side of the forks meet the tube that I straightened out. It's some sort of like dust shield or something, and when this was back and this is up in the front, when it got crunched, it bent, buckled in here, so I've got the jaw horse holding a big block of black walnut, and then I got one of my special boat clamps here holding it down. I should probably heat it up and then clamp it. I'll see how this works. When I was moving some stuff around by the bench there, I found the fourth screw that goes into the radiator, so the one that I bought yesterday is unneeded, but it's always nice to have another little screw around. But I had to do some modifications to the holes. It wasn't quite square, and that I could get 3 in, but the fourth one was a real pain in the butt. So I got that all back together again. All the clamps are back on, are they? Yes. Down there too. That plate I was telling you about goes right back up in here, attaches to these guys, and it fits right in here. So let's go around the other side. And I got the water hoses back on and clamps back down again, and I got this little plate down here was a pain to get around all this stuff, so it's in there, and the pipes come up and attach in, and everything is back hocus pocus again, or hunky-dory. I should use my, before I do anything more on putting the instrument panel and that cover back on and starting on the body work again, I want to take the time while I have it all taken apart and trace down all the electrical connections. They all seem to be going back. I'm finding the right colors and the right directions of the little push pins, and those things are going in well. But I need to take off the variator cover and disassemble that whole back end there and get that axle out to see if that bearing on the left hand side is bad as the one on the right hand side. So we'll come back. Well, it's another new day again. Wasn't feeling, kind of got punky yesterday, so I took a day off. Get those lights out of the way. And so it's out here. I went and printed out some more pages, and you can see is what after 85, and I had the throttle cables going down the wrong side of the main tube, and then there were some other things that needed to go inside this wire. Now you can't see where I'm pointing at. There's a welded wire square up here, and all this stuff goes inside of it to kind of control it in one spot as everything goes around the bearing underneath here. So I had to take off the throttle cables, and now I got to pull the plug out of here for the main hot wiring harness and get it inside the square tube, and then we'll come back. I was looking online for parts for the filters, air filters and stuff. I can get the air filter, but I can't get the pre-filter. But I was also noticing I can't, these tanks you see there are obsolete. The hoses, all the hoses are obsolete. All the fittings are obsolete. The cap down here, all this stuff. I think I can get the radiator, but it's like $300 and some. That pipe we rebuilt along in here. Let me get back here. That's, can't get that either. Or any of these hoses back here on the engine. Those two hoses down there that go up on the cooling part. So, well, it's another new day, and you can see I got my lighter coat on. And it was actually, I was going to take the camera outside and show you some northwest sunshine, but it's gone. So, but I had to take off the turn signal switch and the high. I was getting some intermittent readings on the switch in here, and it's got a little sliding block on some pins, and so I'm gonna have to take this thing apart. One reader, watcher said to, take it apart, and I say, well, I want to see if it really needed it, and it needs it. So I'm gonna have to take this apart in stages and clean everything out and burnish off the little points and the contacts. I've got everything else up and pretty much connected, but I wanted to run through this before I put anything together and try any other things. So let me go ahead and I'll do this off camera. I mean, maybe I'll show you after I get it opened up, but I don't want you to see, oh God, I just broke it. So, well, I have it back together. This electrical diagram that I've got that I showed you here, this, and then there's a page back here that had some logic, electrical logic as to which, when positioned, but the colors don't match up. Mainly because I've got this plug right here that goes into this some like little audible thing, and I can't find the plug anywhere or the instrument itself for the turn signal relay, which I'm assuming maybe on the 88 model that sounding unit was the relay too, but I won't know until I get it hooked up. So, but there was, like everything else, this thing was coated with dust on the inside. I thought I got it cleaned out, but actually I cleaned it out and I lubed the wrong spots. So I had to go back in with some alcohol and some swabs and clean it all out, and now it's nice and working, and the switches work too. So let me go ahead and put this back on, and I think maybe I'll start assembling some of the stuff, plug in all these guys and put in all the little pins. Everything seems to be checking out somewhat that I can tell from this blueprint electrically, so we'll get on with it. So we'll come back later. Well, I put that front cowling on. I don't know if that's going to be a mistake or not, in case I have to chase any more wiring down. It's going to be hard. Well, I can still get into the stuff in behind there with my little probes from my meter, so carry on.